Staying with us. So, to ease traffic congestion in Lagos, the state government ordered all street gates across the state to be open between 5 a.m. and 12 midnight, or have them dismantled. Now, we'll be having the Commissioner for Transportation in Lagos in a moment to discuss it, but in the meantime, we'd like to hear your thoughts on it. You can call us on 090-241-63440. You can also tweet us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag UVTVC so we can read your tweet. All right, so many streets, especially in inner roads, always close their gates, some by 8 p.m., others even maybe like they extend it to like 10 p.m. But I was told that there was a particular neighborhood, the Otedola Bridge, that they actually allow people to pass when there's traffic to Omoli, because of the time that they never used to allow us to pass them. But in your view, do you think this is a right move, or do you think it might cause problems for the people living within the estates?
Okay, so let me say that the government's responsibility is to provide social amenities such as good roads and security for people, which the government has largely failed to deliver to people, which is why individuals now create security, employ security officials, create their estates within the environment, do their roads by themselves. For many of them, contribute money to interlock their roads, contribute money to pave their streets, and mount a gate to ensure only those that have paid for these services enjoy the convenience of this. Because if I open up this road, everybody would use the road. It will get spoiled. The government isn't going to fix it for me. I'll need to contribute again to do it by myself. The reason we are having, and this, it's part of multiple taxation system, because you pay at different areas for things that the government should actually provide for you for paying your taxes. If the government hasn't failed to provide these basic things, we wouldn't have any need for roads or gates at all.
Okay. So you're saying they're focusing on the...
Yes, provide roads. If you are the one that did the roads within those estates, you have the right to tell them, take down your gates and let people pass through. But if you didn't do the roads, if individuals within the estate contributed money to do their roads and are paying for security to protect themselves when security system around has failed, you can't then impose on the system. I know, I feel this issue.
I'm told that the Commissioner is on.
Yes, I wanted to say that I do not think, I'm of the opinion that when you buy a property, you buy your land, you build your house, you do not buy the road. The road also still belongs to the government, and they can do whatever it is they want to do with their roads. I remember every morning when I'm coming to work, I wake up at 5, and then I want to block, go away from the express, and then take some back roads, and you come to this place, the gate is locked, you come to that place, it's quite disorganized, and you feel like, these are roads, this is not you bought a land, you did not buy road now, this is not, this is government property, so it should be opened. I am happy with the alternative, that if you do not open, if you open, that's fine. You put people there, you man it still, I think it's 5 a.m. and 10, 12, midnight, yes. So that's an alternative, as against the normal way they would have done it by going to uproot all the gates. So I'm happy with that, but we should understand that this is not personal property. It's public property.
It's good to have different perspectives. Let me have the Commissioner for Transportation, Dr. Frederic Oladeinde. Good morning, sir. Are you there?
Good morning.
Hello? Hello, sir. Are you there?
Hello.
Can you hear me? Okay. Okay, it's a bit blurry. I can't hear you very well. It's muffled, but we'll try to.
I'm on the road, and I'm hoping that the signal will be better.
All right. So we've just the ladies have just shared their thoughts on this. What are could you tell us exactly what informed your decision to give this directive in Lagos State?
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me well? Okay,
yes.
Great. So let me make it clear that, you have some gated community in Lagos, and as long as you have an approval, I think those gates will be allowed to stand. So what do you require, to get an approval? So you have to do a TIA, which is called Traffic Impact Assessment. And we have to ensure that the road that you want to gain does not lead to another community. So you're not blocking other people from joining other communities, etc.
Okay.
So if you have an enclosed estate, obviously you'll be qualified to gate. But the decision behind, the rationale behind the state is based on that we have limited roads in Lagos. I mean, and we have 70% of our roads, residential roads, are about uncovered roads, and without allocated that people use.
Sir, we're having trouble hearing you. It's a bit muffled. It's really difficult to hear you.
Okay, can I okay now?
Maybe we should call you back. We'll try to call you back.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So he was saying that if your estate doesn't link to another community, maybe you're qualified to have that gate. But he had used the Magodo estate as an example. But Magodo estate is not linked to another community. It's the estate. So I'll find out why from him when he comes back.
Who created the estate? You know, he talked about approval. You know, I think Lagos State has a plan of what this area is supposed to be marked for this. Exactly. So they know the areas that you're supposed to, that you could get a permission to have a gate. And most of all these areas that are gated is just people deciding, because we want to protect ourselves, let us gate this and lock it at so and so time, which does not go through the approval. So I would have loved to ask him how easy would it be for people to get approval? We understand when you want to get approval for anything in the country, it takes you a very long time. You bribe here and go there before they even pay attention to your file. So how easy would you make it for people so that those who have a legitimate right to have a gate can have their gates? Then for those who do not have a legitimate right, the option of you open at so and so time and make sure that you have somebody there. Because see, if you go to work early in the morning, now especially living in an area where most people are businessmen who wake up by 10, you'll be at the gate honking and nobody's paying attention to you. It seems like
it can be frustrating.
So it is frustrating.
I understand.
Okay, the commissioner is back. Okay. Would you like to ask me? Welcome back. So let me see if the line is clearer now.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, it's okay. All right, so you were explaining to us, how this came about.
So I'm saying that the decision and the rationale behind the decision we've taken is because when you look at what is happening around, there's a lot of construction on major roads, and so we have a lot of alternatives, and these are the alternatives that people in. So in order not to constrain people to the main outreach, which is already a constraint, I think it's important that we do an assessment of the road before you put a gate. So a gate, a road that leads to another community cannot be gated, because that means you will deprive the community from getting to their residential area or wherever you want to go and do business. So we need to look at where you want to put the gate, it's not contributing to congestion, and then we'll then assess whether
all right, go ahead.
How about estates? Like we have estates like Omole around us here.
Yes, can you hear? We're asking your next question now. Go ahead.
How about estates like Omole or the Magodo GRA, where it is enclosed estate, but they have 2 gates, and the 2 gates could be used to link one community to another community? Can you hear me, sir?
Hello, sir, are you there? We're trying to ask you a question. Can you hear us?
No, I can't hear you. That's the problem.
Okay. We might need to go on a quick break and try to get this cleared up. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. We hope we have the connection back properly. We have with us Dr. Frederic Oladeinde. Sir, are you still there?
Well, I'm here, but I'm not hearing you properly.
Well, we can hear you better now, actually. So, so Toko was asking a question before the break. Let's ask again.
So, I was asking about estates. Like I know in the press release you mentioned Magodo. I know for Omole too. These are enclosed estates, which people.
Sorry, I'm not getting it at all.
I said that. Can you hear me?
Not properly. I can hear the other one, but I can't hear you properly.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so she's asking about the Magodo estates, for an example, and Omole estate, because you had said earlier that estates that are enclosed and the communities don't lead to another community may be allowed to have gates. But with these examples, why would you use the Magodo especially as an example? Why is Magodo an example in this situation?
Okay, Magodo as well as Omole, which you've mentioned, are not affected because they have approval for the gate, and then the gates do not lead to another community. So remember that the instruction is not to remove all gates. It's to remove all gates that cause obstruction. So, for example, the good example is the one on Wemco, which is actually a main road where people have a gate. And then there's another example in Ikate, Lekki, where people are put the gate. Now, that Ikate road leads to a lot of communities, and you're not allowed to put the gate there. So those are the kind of gates that we're talking about. So Magodo is exempted.
Okay, Dr. Oladeinde, the reasons why these gates exist in the first place is because of security. People fear that when they open these gates up, people who are non-residents, who have no business in that estate, come into their communities. So what are you doing? How would you respond to their worries about this new directive?
Okay. Remember that most of the gates that we're talking about are the gates that were erected just after the EndSARS. So a lot of gates were erected and obviously without approval. So we will go to those communities, we will do a proper assessment. And what we're saying is that when we give approval for you to erect a gate, you have to close between 12 midnight and 5 a.m. And then you must have someone there 24/7. Now, the reason why we're doing this is you have to remember that there's some vulnerable people in the community. If you cannot get to them if they need emergency, then that's a problem. So that's the reason why we need to take these precautions, okay? Apart from the impact it's having on traffic, it's to better serve us, to get to the elderly, to the people that need medical response as quickly as possible. So you can't just investigate without assessing the impact on getting it. And that's what we're talking about here.
Dr. Frederic, I don't know if you can hear me.
I can hear you.
Okay. Was there a notice given prior to this directive? Did you give people time to probably plan themselves better before now?
This directive has been, in place. The government of Fashola. One is that after the EndSARS, we noticed a significant number of people now erecting gates without contacting the ministry and actually getting approval. So it's a directive that's been in place for over 8 years.
Okay.
It's nothing new here.
So because of the EndSARS protest, many communities have began to erect gates within their neighborhoods. Can you hear us? It's such a hard...
I can't hear you.
He's in transit, so he's moving. Yeah. So
may I quickly ask?
Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, so how long, for those communities that need to get an approval, what's the speed of the duration of that? How long will it take them to get that approval?
Okay, it can range between a week and a month. You see, to get an approval, we have to go there. We have to assess the impact it would have on traffic. We have to assess whether it's a major road for the gate or not. So we have to deploy people there and then assess that judgment call before we actually give the approval.
So what would the process
be? This has been in place. Nothing is changing at all. So as a result, you can't say that because we're giving this directive, we should now change the procedure for getting approval. The approval is pretty clear.
Right.
People know what to do. People have been getting approval for the past 8 years. So we're not...
Commissioner.
We're not shifting from that procedure at all.
Dr. Oladeinde.
Yes, hello?
The issue of timing. So are you saying that if a community asks for approval, they're going to get it?
Sorry,
and if
you're not clear at all. The issue of timing.
The issue of timing, yes. You insist 5 a.m. to midnight. There are some communities that have gates and close their gates at 9 p.m., others 10 p.m. Are you saying that by this directive, any gate across the state must only lock at midnight?
Okay, if I hear you properly, you see this directive. I'm not sure what you're asking. But
let me rephrase. Let me rephrase.
So the directive of opening your gate, it's at 12 midnight and opening it at 5 a.m. It's not something new. And the issue of having someone manage the gate 24/7 is not new either. It's just reinforcing.
It's so hard to hear you.
It's not new to what we're saying before.
Yeah, there was a clarity I needed because, for example, the Magodo gate we're talking about, the second gate, if you don't have a sticker, you can't enter. And they lock up that gate pretty early. We'll have to bring you back another time. Yeah. Unfortunately, we have to go on a break. Thank you very much, sir. We have to stop this conversation at this time. Let's go on a break. We'll be right back.